I'm Captain Tom Rutherford. Welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, home of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Every year in October, the skies over this mile-high city fill with hundreds of gaily colored balloons. Not only is it a spectacular sight, but it's also the largest ballooning competition in the world. From a few years ago, when there were only a few dozen balloons in private use, that number has steadily grown, to the point where there are now an estimated 4,000 balloons worldwide.
Come and double check it before I fly.
And what about the pilots? The vast majority are just like you and me. We come from all walks of life, from attorneys like myself to mechanics, business professionals, and housewives. That's the way things look from 2,000 feet up. But there's a lot more going on right here on the ground. Ballooning is one of the few events which allows spectators to get really involved. Getting nearly 500 of these giants into the air is no easy task, but it's made much more carefree and safer with the help of nearly 5,000 local volunteers who help in everything from the launch to the final pickup. It's an exhilarating sight to see these giants of the air come to life as huge fans fill the balloon envelopes with the frosty morning air. Heat from powerful propane burners warms the cool air inside the envelope, and within minutes, the balloon begins to reach for the skies. With a final pre-flight check and the okay from the launch director, it's up, up, and away. Once skyward, these giants of the air float with ease through the clear blue southwestern skies, silently drifting with the winds. You can't actually steer a balloon, but at various altitudes, the winds move in different directions. So all the pilot need do is raise the balloon by adding more heat to the air trapped inside, or allowing the balloon to descend by permitting the air to cool. Then, by catching a current of air going the direction the pilot desires, the voyage is on its way.
Hey, J.D., we are having a great time. 4th Annual National Balloon Festival here, Freedom Weekend in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. You have never seen a television sight like this before. A politician, a weatherman, and a pig. Now, you figure out which one is which. This nice gentleman, Tom Rutherford, who I hope has a sense of humor.
Oh, you bet. We're having a great time.
Great set of chords. Ex-radio announcer, now state senator from the great state of New Mexico, Albuquerque.
You betcha. The experience of ballooning is difficult to describe. There's no sensation of movement. It's a wonderful, gentle floating feeling when you're high above the earth. The excitement for me comes in being on the ground and seeing the excitement that you bring to other people. The smiles on all the folks' faces and the heads all turned to the air, watching the balloons take off, and seeing everybody united in that kind of a happy spirit's very rewarding, gratifying experience. And I think the other pilots feel the same way generally. We wanted the pilots to be sure and understand the wind speed and direction, but also the limitations on visibility caused by the haze, so that they, as pilots, these are aircraft, and they're aircraft pilots, and they're trained in the use of this information as well, but to make sure that they had the kind of information they need to make an educated decision as to whether or not to fly. They've driven out here for the last few days and become familiar with the roads. They've been watching the winds and so forth. There'll be different strategies involved depending on the speed of the wind. With a rather brisk wind, which for balloons is 7, 8, 9 miles an hour, the balloonists will have a pretty much straight course, and they'll have to try to line up directly upwind from the target and just hope to come in that fairly narrow corridor right over. If, however, the winds are light and variable, the pilot will have a lot of maneuverability, and sometimes the wind direction on a light and variable day will change every 10 or 15 feet. The balloonists go away from the field in their trucks and launch their balloons from off the field. In this case, it'll be from 3 miles out to make it a little bit more difficult. And they'll try to fly over the field, and down at the end of the field is a 30-foot tall pole, and on top of the pole are the keys to a $50,000 Rolls Royce. And if the pilot can somehow maneuver his craft without really being able to steer right over that pole and grab the keys from the pole, then he wins the new Rolls Royce.
Please don't touch the balloon. if it should be coming in low, some of them will find that there'll be a wind down here right on the ground that they'll want to get, and they may come in within arm's length, but don't touch them because that'll disqualify them, and they've come from 23 different states to compete for that Rolls-Royce.
Again, this is Senator Tom Rutherford, state senator from New Mexico, and you are a balloonist, right?
I'm a balloonist. I'm the announcer for the event. We've got a great weekend of fun for folks, fireworks and hot air balloons. The Commodores are performing tonight. A great arts and crafts exhibit. Don and Jesse Hart made this balloon for you.
Oh, that's
and
great.
It's one of the many items that's available at the Arts and Crafts Fair. Everybody's having a great time here in Greenville.
You're terrific, and if you politics doesn't work out, we'll use you on the Today Show. You're dynamite.
Thank you, Willard.
This past October, the 14th annual Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta drew more than 500 balloons and at least 500,000 spectators. Tom Rutherford, New Mexico State Senator, was the official announcer.
The sport is hot. Ballooning is a fast-growing sport. It's a relatively new sport. It really re-evolved in the 1960s. It was man's first form of flight. I think what the crowd enjoys so much is the spectacle of it, imagining being in the air in such a delicate, brightly colored bauble filled with hot air, and the thought of flying free over the countryside. Flight has always attracted people, and this is certainly a colorful form of flight. Flying in a hot air balloon is quite an unusual experience. You're just floating above the ground and feel like the Earth's moving below you, not as if you're moving above it.
Skies over Albuquerque are filled with balloons this week. The annual Balloon Festival got underway over the weekend, and enthusiasts from all over the world flocked to New Mexico for the event, including our own Steve Bell and Steve Fox.
The thought of flying with nothing more than a bubble of hot air above you is just an intriguing notion, and people are amazed by it and delighted by it. It really creates a spirit that is indescribable.
Maybe the best words are awe and tranquility. The aloneness, the silence of being here hundreds of feet into the air, look across the horizon, 70 miles in each direction, the mountain ranges, the other balloons. It's awesome.
Now, the other thing it is, and I want to be honest with you, is a little bit scary. Not when you look straight out so much, but when you look down. Take a look here.
Steve and I came to catch a bit of balloon fever, and for me to be initiated in the old tradition as a first-time balloonist.
Now that my associate, Mr. Bell, has cheated death and survived his first balloon flight, it's my bet that this is a memory he will treasure and polish.
Balloon stories are like fish stories. They grow and grow and grow.
Should David and Joan inject a bit of reality into these stories?
Well, they should try, but it's hard to mix balloons and reality. They seem unreal, and perhaps they are a bit.
And now our resident expert on a lot of hot air.